What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jennison with
Kendra Jennison.
Yeah, so I just was telling a little story before we started this thing about how I was eating a chicken sandwich out of the garbage the other day.
You did. It was right on top.
It was right on top.
You were like, hey, why'd you throw this away? I was going to eat this. And I was like, oh, sorry. There you go.
Old habits die hard. Right? Here I am 8 years later eating out of my home garbage. I looked at it. Literally, I'm like, you know what? I don't see anything on this thing. It looks really good.
It was right on top.
Well, it was. I like the way that they taste.
You did.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That's what this topic's about, eating out of the garbage.
Oh, well, I don't have any expertise on this.
Oh, you've never done that? Oh, shit. All right, now it's actually, though, what I want to talk about, a couple of different things here. But it's on action.
Yep.
Massive action. So it's interesting that I brought that piece up because I wasn't even thinking about tying this together. But when I had to eat out of a dirty fridge or shit that was left over from the dealership when I was working at the car dealership, like I remember it was not too long ago. It was 8 years ago. It was my choice, my decision, fucked up my financial life, blew up my life. And there was a time where, my son, now our son, was more important than me. So I was taking action. I was working my ass off, grinding, building, becoming this man. And my financial life was in such a fucking ruin. I had to pay back the government, had to pay back this, pay. And there was not much left for me. And everything was going out as fast as I could make it. Was going out. Mm-hmm. Yet I was still trying to be a good dad for Phoenix. So like every little bit that I was getting, I was like holding on to so he could, so he didn't know.
Yeah.
So he didn't know. But I think back to the energetic creation of life that I had at that moment and talk about massive action. I think it's back in our life right now.
I think so too. I absolutely love this shifter place we're in right now. And
we're going to talk about a couple different things about it. But before I'm asking a lot of you right now. So for those of you listening, men and women, we just set a deadline today.
Yep.
That we will be launching IAMACOMEBACK Women's in basically 6 months. Day one, Q2.
3 months, you said.
3 months.
Oh, 3 months.
I'm giving you 3 months to mentally
Yep.
So for me, I just take fucking massive action. I'm like, I'm going, I'm doing it.
Yep.
Yet at the same time, that's not really entirely true because I've been doing it for so long that I only know how to operate at this level.
Yes.
If I look back to when I created my companies, I've been an entrepreneur now for 22 years of my life. That's a long fucking time. Right. So like
it's a lot of reps, a lot of practice.
Yeah. So my max, massive action or the right actions has been getting more and more over the years. I think back to when I first started, I didn't know I couldn't do what I do now.
Yep.
Right. So that's why I'm asking of you, like, I'm going to give you a deadline in these 3 months. I want you to take action into learning everything you can about not me, but the woman's version of this.
Yeah. And
then we'll start filming it and then we'll deploy it by Q2 of 2024. Yes. I'm pretty excited about that.
Me too.
But I want to talk about some of the things in a relationship. There's a couple different things I actually want to speak about. One, I'm going to pause the massive action conversation and just shift gears over here, which was people take massive action in the wrong direction. One of the things that I speak to the men that I work with all the time is like, it's not that you're not disciplined. It's not that you don't have discipline. You're just disciplined in the wrong way. Right?
Sure.
Like I think about my life. I was like, if I'm going to go out and get fucked up, I'm going to get fucked up every day. I'm going to get fucked up more than everybody else. So everything I did was like just the wrong way. Oh, I'm going to go out. I'm going to be an asshole. Well, guess what? I'm going to be the best asshole. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm going to be super cocky. I'm going to be ultimately the most cocky person I can be.
Sure.
Right. So it wasn't that I wasn't disciplined. If you look at what it was, I was taking actions, doing the same shit over and over and over and over and over, only just getting the results of what massive action would be into a negative.
Sure.
If you think
that
about
is
it,
an interesting perspective to take on that. Yeah. I never thought of it that way, but you're right. Yeah.
Well, you cannot run your life as far into the fucking gutter as I did unless you're fully focused on running it into the gutter.
And you did.
And I did.
Yeah. And it makes sense. Now that you pointed that out, I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, you did.
And if I think about some of the mindset things that the way that I operated then was like, I wanted to feel like I was getting away with something so incredibly bad that I could do it like no one else could. But the truth was inside of there was this fear, like an imposter syndrome, like, oh, and then even right now, if you think back, or we don't need to think, we can talk about it. People around locally, family members are like, oh, he did this, he stole this company, he's this, he that. Fuck you. right? Like it's not even the case. But I wanted to talk about actions because I wanted to talk about some of the stuff in our life where we have taken action over the past years to get here.
Yeah.
But I also want people to understand that action and discipline and movement and creation can be worked to the negative and to the positive.
Yes.
And in my life, I realized that you can compound it faster in the negative than you can the positive. It is much easier to completely fuck up and destroy your walk with God, your business, your relationship, and your body.
Yep.
Which brings me to, I'm going to do this podcast with you, then I'm going to do another podcast after this, which brings me to a staggering statistic that's been, you can tell as I get like talking about it, it just angers me. And it really kind of shifted something home. 140,000 deaths in the U.S., man and woman, a year from alcohol. Preventable. I'll read this to you. It is, where's this stat right here? It is estimated that more than 140,000 people, approximately 97,000 men and 43,000 women die from alcohol-related causes annually, making alcohol the fourth leading preventable cause of death in the United States behind tobacco, poor diet and physical inactivity, and illegal drugs. That is just the United States. And then I went on to look at
other countries,
the world, right? So that was from the CDC. Not that
we believe those numbers.
Not that I believe everything they say, but I mean, maybe that one is real. And then in the WHO, 3 million, it doesn't break it down to men and women, 3 million people worldwide die from alcohol abuse or consumption. And I look at this I just look at this number. Now that's just death. Divorce, sickness, right? Like legitimately making themselves sick, creating my take with here's I'm going to say something here real quick. Whether you fucking believe it's a disease or not, people are dying.
Exactly.
Right? I don't believe it's a disease.
Neither do I.
And also when you have the word preventable inside of it, if you can prevent something, therefore you have your hand in doing something about it. Right there it tells me, well, it's a choice. Every single decision, everything in life starts with a decision and a choice. Now, the reason that I wanted to tie this into massive action is just because of what I want to do with what we're building here. And I want to talk about what it's done inside of our relationship. But when I looked at this morning and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, dude, that fire was lit inside. I'm not doing shit.
Yeah.
And that like it literally there's this vision that I have for our life. And there's this, and oftentimes I tell you like, yeah, we're going to get to this certain point. We're going to get out.
Yep.
Right. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. But the reality is I'm in a game that I can't get out of.
Yeah.
And so are you.
It is our path.
So when I looked at that, I'm like, fuck, man, what is it going to take? What is it truly going to take to make a significant impact on the world? Now, last week we talked about something you were ultra passionate about, which is basically the second leading cause of death, which I don't have the statistics on that, but that is being fat, overweight, obese, physical inactivity. Yep. All preventable, right? All preventable. Which is what, heart disease? I mean, you probably know more about that. And go back to that thing I said. Where in life are people taking massive fucking action the wrong way?
Yeah.
I want to give it over to you because you've been with me and I've changed things inside of your life. You took massive action to the house yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
You cleaned it, right? Like I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Every 3 months or so, I go crazy on the house.
You literally threw everything away in the house.
I didn't throw everything away.
You did too.
I just reorganized
it. I can't even find my toothbrush.
Oh, that's not true.
You literally got rid of everything.
But
talking about massive action, what does it mean to you? Or just action, just fucking discipline, action.
Since you had this massive shift, by proxy, I also have been now taking like massive action into massive shifts. You and I sat down and we had a great conversation when we were walking after dinner. So we weren't sitting down, we were walking after dinner. And you're like, you had this fire inside of you that you were ready to just like unleash the beast inside of you. You were like, something clicked finally for you. And by proxy, like I said, your energy and your commitment to growth and getting focused and being disciplined and cutting out everything that wasn't going to help us build. I was like, I want that too. And I think I told you, I love this new fire you have. You're so focused. You're so energetic. You're so ready. So am I. But I did look at you and I was like, but what do I do? Like, I want to always be your equal. I always want to have intellectual conversations with you. I want to be physically fit with you. I want to raise our kids. Like, I always want to make sure that I am doing my part and making sure that I am growing with you, right? It's fun. I love it. It's actually one of my favorite things about our relationship is how we are continuously growing together, taking massive action. And anyways, we had this conversation. I said, Mark, what do I need to do? And you're like, why don't you just start here, 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 and here? And I was like, I freaking love that. So what do I do? Exactly what you told me to do. Here, 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 and here. I'm getting clarity. I'm getting focus. I'm having a boatload more discipline in areas. And overall, just taking the massive action has given me so much more clarity and purpose, not being clouded by all this other BS noise or distractions. Or I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And I can't believe that I had never just been... I can't believe that I allowed myself to be so distracted by other things before, because I sat back and I was just like, this is part of my everyday life. This is what I do.
You're talking specifically about social media.
Oh my gosh. Social media was a huge part of it. I was way more of a consumer than I was a producer. And once I like cut that, I was like, holy cow. Okay. What can I shift here? Where can I put my attention here? How can I
got a trainer? Right?
I got a trainer.
You went and got a trainer and shifted your diet. Like, I changed my diet. You're even more strict than you were, right?
Yeah.
And just probably by proxy of me making some changes, even though you're not doing the same diet as me, but I notice.
Yeah. I mean, I kicked up my self-development game like tenfold. Of course, I still read for enjoyment too. Those are things that I love. I kicked up my Spanish game, all of these things that I had been saying for so long. Oh, I'm going to do this, or I want to be more focused on this. And I was fucking lying to myself because it never happened.
Sure.
Never did it. Or if I did, it would be like, oh, half-assed here, half-assed here.
Lacking commitment.
Lacked massive commitment towards it. But for whatever reason, this massive energetic shift that you have had, I felt like he's not fucking around anymore. Like, we're in this, and I was like, I'm not going to let him down. I'm not going to let myself down. I'm ready to do this. Boom, let's go. And so now it's been a full month almost. Well, almost a full month of us just like buckling down, focus, discipline, and I am on fire with you.
It's been a month for you. It's been a year for me.
Yeah.
To get to this point, because we're in October right now.
Yeah.
About fucking 12 months ago, I was flying to that event and literally wanted to kill myself.
Yeah.
To my own event.
Yep.
And we sit here now going into another season like that. Holy shit, that flew by, right?
Yeah, I can't even believe that.
Going to the lawyers because we're trying to figure out what to do with Phoenix. Still waiting on his mom to go through her shit, and I couldn't even make a statement, a sentence at the time. Mm-hmm. Frustrated, full of rage. For me, it's been a year of just action into the core four of the comeback 7, which is the faith, the finances, the family, and the fitness, to create the future, to have the freedom by building this foundation day and out. What I recognized was this, and this is something that I haven't even really taught you, that you will learn as you progress through this. You're always going to be getting pulled by me.
Yep.
You're always going to be getting pulled by me. Mm-hmm. I'm just different.
You're on another level.
I'm just different. I do not fucking want to go slow. I do not want to go. I want everything nonstop. I worked yesterday, how many hours on myself?
All day.
Yeah. Yet I was still present. I'm still there doing my shit, but I'm training, I'm learning, I'm reading, everything right now, me to become my most fucking authentic, powerful, just savage self that I could be, using some really cool buzzwords there. But my point is this. I recognized what I needed to do to reignite this fire. I had to go deep working on myself, right? Mm-hmm. January, February, March, Actually, it was like October, November, December, January, February, March. Like working on me, allowing myself to become that version, allowing God to come back into my life.
Yep.
Right. And then I had to cut fucking stories in my financial game.
Oh my goodness,
cut
definitely.
People, cut stories. Like this is our year in Rewind, right? Mm-hmm. Cut people. Go down at one point to Ryan, Kevin, me, I think would have been, and Johnny. I think that's all we had at one point this year. Like took this team and put it down on the diet, like then built it back, then ramped, as I cut it, I ramped up the growth, got the company back higher than it's ever been. Then I had to make the shift to bring someone in so I could take a step out of the company. Devoted 1 month, because I'm always like with you right now. Our relationship was good. August was about you.
Yep.
Right? And then came out August, September, and kind of a little bit in September, then October, November, December are all about building a fucking weaponized and fortified body to house to go to the next level.
Yep.
But here's what shifted inside of it. We were taking massive action. I was taking massive action into a place of uncertainty and clarity by self-decision. And what I mean by that is like, I even just had a conversation with Kevin here, and I would take all these things, I'd bring us into this world since I'm the leader, and I'd leave it being chaotic because I can do so many things. I have so many fucking options. Right? Oh, I could be a business coach. I could be an alcohol coach. I could be a fitness coach if I really want. Like I could do anything. And I look at the word, I'm a comeback. I am a comeback. It's an international statement of fucking power. Kevin and I just had a conversation. He looked at me just a couple minutes ago. He was like, bro, I think you'd be fucking up if you make it anything other than alcohol. Like what happens if you are focused in on one thing for the next 10 years?
Yeah.
If you just take the action, you get the team, you get your wife, you get everybody rowing. But here's the shift that happened. And I don't even know if we've talked about it because these things got to come up, is that we've got to a place where, we're in a lawsuit right now for having to sue for our own money back. Insane on a deal that we didn't even fuck up with. And I'm sure we're going to lose money on it. We made a bunch of decisions in hundreds of thousands of dollars in decisions and actions to build this life that I thought we wanted. But we already had what we wanted.
Yeah.
I was not listening to myself, knowing I wanted it, because I was running from certain things. So I was going to take action the wrong way at the expense of my cash and work my ass for, only to get to a place where I recognize you already have what you want. And then my plan, where this fire came from, is like, look, it's real simple. I'm going to put these kids through. They're going to be productive, elite humans, members of this city that we live in, these couple cities. I'm going to build you your fucking house. I'm going to commit and devote my time. So you're going to get your $3-4 million house, our $3-4 million house. Going to give you a stable, if you will, a kingdom, so that you can have your grandkids here. And the rest of the world is going to be my fucking playground. But for the next 10 years, I committed to being right here, to solving one problem. Keeping people from dying.
And what happened when you got really, really clear, because we've had conversation before where you and I just want everything. We want to do everything. We want everything. We just don't place ourselves in a box when it comes to the world, I guess, if you will. That was not always the greatest thing because, like you said, we've lost a lot of money. We've made a lot of mistakes. We never had exceptional clarity on, nope, this is what we got to do, because we were like next shiny object. Like, oh, now maybe we want this, or oh, now maybe we want that. For whatever reason.
And where do you think that came from? Social media.
You're so right. Yeah, 100%.
I never, I talk to my friends now, I'll give it back to you in a second, but I'll be looking at the people, and my friends got some fucking great lives.
Awesome lives.
And when I compare it to ours, I'm like, man, you suck, Mark. You're poor, you're broke, your message is weak, your brand is soft.
Comparison has killed us more than anything.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm not comparing them. There was this thing well, this is how we got to do it. We got to do it.
Oh, this is what's possible. Because that is how we would trick ourselves to be like, oh, this is great. They have this. This is what's possible. We should have this. Or oh, wow, we can work towards this, or anything like that. However, it was never something that was really authentic to us, But once you got exceptionally clear, like I said, the shift in you was undeniable. I was like, holy shit, I felt it. It was like a vibration, no kidding. And I was like, okay, this is where we're going. This is what we got to do. This is what I have to do. like once you got exceptional clarity on the business and life and this and this and this, I was like, okay, now I have exceptional clarity on this, this, and this. It was crazy.
So there's ladies out there. We're at on time here, 1:39. Got a little more time left. Not everybody lives next to a person like me.
Yeah.
Not everybody sleeps next to me. You do, right? Not everybody wakes up and goes through the craziness, or when the 4 a.m. of me talking to myself via using the stack tools and sitting down having coffee. And this, I truly do every single thing that I tell my clients to do and tenfold over them. So, but not everybody has that shit, right? If you put yourself back, well, I want you to answer this from two places.
Sure.
The wife building alongside me.
Yeah.
That place you live right now. But before you mention okay, here's how I do things. This is what action means to me now. There's a woman out there, probably people I know that we walk in the streets that like us, or that mainly probably follow you, but they're like, I don't know what to take action on.
Yep.
Maybe she's single. Maybe she's got a couple girls, boys. Maybe she's got a deadbeat. Maybe they're just learning to figure it out together, the couples, right?
Sure.
I don't know. Right? I don't know your scenario. If you go back to Kendra pre-Mark and you could tell yourself, listen, girl, here's what you need to do. What would you tell yourself?
Oh boy, what a loaded thing that would be if I had the information that I had now. If someone were to come to me 8 years ago, before I had met you, and told me, hey, focus on these 4 things. Focus on finding your faith. Focus on your finances. Focus on those girls and your fitness. You focus and you get so rock solid in those top 4 things, Kendra, your life will change inevitably. I would have been like, okay, wow, thank you. This is a starting point that I can handle. I would have saved years, quite literally years, of rejecting what it means to have faith and what it means to walk with God and what it means. If somebody would have just said, hey, no, it doesn't have to mean one thing. If somebody would have, if I would have explored down that avenue, I would have saved myself years of misery and heartache and questioning.
Hurt.
If somebody would have said, hey, finances, Kendra, this is another way to look at this. This is another way to look at money. Question your relationship with money. Oh my God, I would have saved.
I would say as when you were single when I met you, you were doing great with the girls.
I was doing great.
You really did. I remember Mrs. Kyle, the coffee shop lady. Yeah.
She's so sweet.
She's so great with those little girls. You need to date her. I remember her telling me that.
And then when it came down to my family, how can you be a better mom? If I would have just started questioning every single thing on what can I do better? How can I do this? How can I educate them more? Just expanding my horizon when it came to anything. And then of course my fitness, right? How can you dial this in? Okay, these are the hours. If I would have had that information, oh my God, my life, I would be 4 or 5 years already ahead and already way more intellectually and exceptional than I am right now. If somebody would have given me that starting point.
I think it's interesting that you talked about your faith and used the word God, because it was a taboo word in our relationship for years. Yeah. I knew it the whole time, right? There was this, I talk about this version of Mark that I had to hold hostage because I would feel this way, and it actually inflicted or impacted, if you will, the leadership inside of IAMACOMEBACK, because I didn't know how to handle how I felt and how I loved somebody in this weird,
when you met me, I was coming from a place of massive hurt. My little brother died. I was angry at the world. I was angry at God. I was angry at the universe. I was like, if something can take someone so beautiful off of this earth, then fuck you, guy or person or spirit, whatever it was, right? I was just like, no. I was and then my dad, boom, it was back to back. And I was just like, yeah, not a fucking chance. And it was a lot of hurt, a lot of anger, like you said, but once I really started to get into the self-development world and I was able to take a step back and I was able to say, question and take different perspectives on things. Because once I really, really got to a place where things don't happen to me, they happen for me. I really found a lot of power in that. And even with something as serious and as hard and as devastating as losing a dad and brother, I mean, finding faith in myself and in that simple flip of words that things happen for me, not to me.
It's really great to hear that.
I was like, and it took me a very long time. It wasn't something, like I said, it took me almost 8 years. I rejected. I was upset about it. I was like, no, I don't want to I don't want to talk about because that was where my mind went. And automatic, it was like Christian religion. I was boxing myself in. I was boxing anybody, and I was boxing the word God in, because this is what I had been taught. And then I explored, and then I met, and it just exploring spirituality as a whole has done more for me internally than I've ever spoke, but man,
you talk about time. I could probably put like quantifiable fucking
numbers on it. No kidding.
Not time, but on miles of walking and calories and steps, circling our property, wondering how to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Asking God, how do I let her know who I really am?
Yeah. And anytime, there was no question about that. Anytime you had brought up the word God,
he just told me to be patient. And then obviously here we are now, you bring it up.
I bring it up. Yeah. And definitely it's not something I reject anymore. It's something that I am open to listening and hearing. And it's something that is deeply internal and intrinsic to me, how I view it. And I guess that's how anybody should view it. It doesn't have to look one way. It doesn't have to be one way. It doesn't have to sit one way. But me completely being open to it, has done more for me than.
Well, that was great. That was a really nice thing to hear.
Yeah.
I love you, and I appreciate that you just said that. It means that everything, those steps were worth it. There's a lot of steps. Now, I want you to come from a place of my wife, what you know now. Because there's other wives that are like, oh, I hear it all the time. We love your guys' podcast.
Yeah.
Right? So now you know what you know. How do you buy into my vision so quickly?
Yeah. So I think coming from a comeback wife perspective, right, is essentially how, I could speak on ours, but I kind of want to see if I can tap into some of the other comeback husbands and their wives. I think it's easy to reject maybe some of these new philosophies and ideologies that your husband is presenting to you in his life, because, he goes from a hockey stick. He kind of goes from a piece of shit to like all of a sudden amazing, loving, family, and you're like, holy shit, you're kind of waiting for him to fail, right? A lot of wives do. Like, okay, this is so great right now, but he's let me down in the past. Do not deny yourself your ability to grow just because you think that somebody else might fail. Right. So I'm just saying, and for the husbands who have been doing the right thing, and I mean the right thing by living the comeback 7 and truly embodying what it means to be a comeback, there's no messing up with him. Right. He's on the right track. He's done the work. Do not deny yourself. Do not be so intimidated by your husband's growth that you think that it's not for you. Because it is for you. I was that same way. I remember when I met Mark and he's talking to me about all these things and goals, and I was kind of overwhelmed because it was new territory for me. But I remember thinking to myself, I love who he is. I love this person who he's turned into. Why can't I turn into that too? I can. I did it in my own way and in my own time, and I will never be you, just like some of the wives will never be their husbands. They might never ever be, 150 miles per hour. But I do it in my way, and I do it to make sure that I can be as powerful as I need to be to grow along the side of you. Because that in reality, if I was unwilling to grow or unwilling to gain knowledge or unwilling to elevate myself along the side with you, you don't deserve to be with me. You don't deserve somebody like that. You deserve somebody who's like, fuck yeah, I want to grow. Show me how to do it. Take me there. I want to go with you because I want to take over the world in the best ways with you. That's what the husbands want. That's what they want their wives to do. And it's scary because you really have to look internally at yourself and be like, ugh, shit, this is where I'm lacking. Shoot, this is really what I need to pick up my own slack on. But once you do that, There's so much massive power and confidence, and it will do more for you to believe that you deserve it than anything else. So I hope that answered your question.
No, that was great. I literally was just thinking the whole time that Ryan just chopped that section out. There's good clips inside there.
Yeah.
What I heard you say right there was this: extreme ownership.
Extreme ownership.
Extreme ownership.
Once I was able to really look at myself in a way of, and it's so funny because you and I are both like kind of crazy about it. Oh, you were definitely more so than me. But once I could look at every situation and everything in my life and say, okay, it's my fault. How can I fix it? Giving power to nothing else or nobody else except for me allowed me to be like, okay, I have the ability to fix this. It's my fault this happened. I can fix it. If it's somebody else's fault, that means I got to wait for them to fix it. I don't have time or the energy or anything for that. It's my problem. I need to fix it no matter what it is.
And as a couple, you look at it like I take ownership for everything we do, then you take ownership. But as a couple, it's like, hey, what's our problem?
Our problem. One of the biggest things that I think I had said to a comeback gentleman is husbands and wives get into a place sometimes where it's like, oh, that's my husband's problem or that's my wife's problem. Quit looking at everything like a his problem or a her problem. You are in a committed relationship. It's a your problem. When something is wrong with Mark, or if he's going through something, I don't look at him and be like, oh, what's wrong with, I'm like, okay, what can we do to fix this? Something is going on with me. Never once are you like, oh, well, that's a her thing. She's got to figure it out. You come in and you're like, okay, what can we do? How can we make this better? Just knowing that I have that certainty in you and you have that certainty in me, we're fucking there for each other. This is a you and me thing all the time. There is nothing I can't do. There's nothing you can't, or at least that we feel like we can't do, right? And having that is incredible.
So we started the conversation off talking about action, right? Mm-hmm. Massive action, doing the right thing. I think what you just did right here was led the people, man, woman, down a great, just a great vision of what it's like to take an action on believing your life could be different. Or just taking action on the thought. Mm-hmm. And that's what I wanted to drive home here for everybody on the call today, right? Like actions start inside of your mind. You have to go do them, right? But moving forward, something you have to see it. You have to feel it. You have to want it. You have to be it.
Clarity, action.
Yeah. I mean, and even for me, sometimes I don't even get clarity until I take action.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like
sometimes you just take action right away and you're like, I'll work it out as I go. Okay, this is what
I say this all the time. If I have a problem that action can solve, I don't have a problem. And the only way that I couldn't take action if I was dead.
Yep.
Which even inside of that one statement right there is just like, yo, that's extreme ownership on it.
Yes.
So any parting words you want to say today? Was it a fun podcast for you?
It was fun. I kind of liked that we were able to take it down a couple different avenues, but I do better when you ask me a question and then I'm like, take off. But
no, I think this was a good one. I think it's right on line with the topics that we put out here these past couple of weeks, specifically talking about, the fitness journey or the obesity and the stuff we talked about last week and doing something about it. That spawned and sparked some stuff even inside of, the program, the movement that Ryan's talking about. And, just want people to look at their lives today and not be a fucking statistic. Like everybody we knows somebody that has been impacted, inflicted, died, suffering. I hate the word suffering, but chosen to go down this path of a preventable death. They've shortened their time on this earth because they chose sedation. They chose easy fucking way out. Cheap fucking, not even cheap because they pay with your life, but just cheap thrills, experiences because they didn't prevent their death, right? Like, you need to take action in the right way. Yep. And remember back to what I said here when you guys are listening, or when I first started this. I took every action possible in my life to completely destroy and fuck up my life. I am not that smart. People will probably talk about the comments. They'll go say some shit about that. Yeah, he's dumb. He's got a dumb haircut. He's not that smart, blah, blah, blah. They'll say all that shit about me. And I appreciate that. But guess what I am? Smart enough to know that what's not working, just need to do a complete 180. And then commit to what that 180 is. If I'm drinking, I should probably stop. If I'm a liar, I should probably stop lying. If I'm a cheater, I won't cheat. If I eat too much, I won't eat that much anymore. Mm-hmm. If I'm not exercising, I will exercise. This is not fucking rocket science.
Yep.
Once you can make a decision and extremely like own and say, you know what, I'm fucking sick and tired of the way I look in the mirror. I'm sick and tired of waking up and having a red face. I'm sick and tired of fucking missing my kids' events. I'm sick and tired of spending all my money. I'm sick and tired of not knowing even how I got home. Then you can make a decision. You can do the exact opposite. And you take action that way. And you point this bitch north, because that's north, south, west. I don't care which way you want to point it, but you pick a direction, you commit, and you go.
I love it.
So that's it for today's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. We'll see y'all next week.